Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of the central region of Uganda. This region includes the capital city of Kampala, you can see right here. But its most distinctive geographic landmark is, of course, Lake Victoria, the largest lake in Africa and one of the largest freshwater lakes in the world. This region includes all of these little islands you can see there. They're called the Sese Islands, all throughout this area here. And as you can see here on my map, this area is labeled as Buganda. And that is because this region pretty much encompasses the entire kingdom of Buganda, which is still around. They still have their own king. He's known as the Kabaka. And it's a parliamentary monarchy. They have their own government system within Uganda. So it's listed on here on my map, which I think is pretty neat and pretty handy. There's not much else to say in the surrounding landscape. It's pretty much just all farmland. So when we go to Google Earth, we're not going to explore any of this area out here because I didn't see anything to really show you. It's literally just tiny villages and farmland. It's all going to be here in Kampala, which interestingly is a city of 7 hills, just like Rome. I think, what is it? Annam in Jordan also has 7 hills. I could be wrong. I know it's very hilly there, but definitely 7 very prominent hills in Kampala, just like Rome. How fun is that? But getting into the very interesting history of this area and the Buganda kingdom. There's my cat crying. She's watching TV in the other room. She's probably talking to the birds, I hope. Anyway, the Buganda kingdom and this region. The native peoples here are Bantu speaking people known as the Ganda. Alright, sorry, my cat is causing chaos. She wants to play. Bonnie. She's just causing trouble all the time. Whenever I start filming, she starts going wild. She wants my attention. I'm so sorry. But what was I saying? This is the home of the Ganda peoples. Bantu-speaking Ganda peoples. Oh my gosh, you know what I forgot to tell you in geography? This line right here, this is the equator. So we'll look and see their little equator landmark. It's on one of the islands here. It's really cool, I think. For a geography nerd, that's really neat. So anyway, the Ganda peoples. The first Kabaka of Buganda was Kato Kintu, and he would have rose to prominence during the 13th century. Oh gosh, I forgot to tell you one other thing. I'm so disorganized. In 1881, the Buganda kingdom built very important tombs in Kampala, known as the Kasubi tombs, and they're a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Goodness, I completely forgot to tell you about UNESCO, but I guess this was a good segue into it. Let me pull that up for you once I get the cat out of the way. Bon, you can't. Bon, I'm sorry. I know you want to play. I know you do. I know you're a good baby. Here, look. Here's a cough drop wrapper. Cough drop wrapper. Do you want to play with the cough drop wrapper, Bon? Ready? Ready? Go get it. Go get it, Bon. There you go. Okay. All right. Here we go. The tombs of Buganda kings at Kasubi. She did not go get it. Oh, goodness. All right. The tombs of Buganda kings at Kasubi constitute a site embracing almost 30 hectares of hillside within Kampala district. Bonnie, don't bite the wires, please. Most of the site is agricultural, farmed by traditional methods. At its core on the hilltop is the former palace of the Kabakas of Buganda, built in 1882, and converted into the royal burial ground in 1884. 4 royal tombs now lie within the Musibu Azala Mpanga, the main building, which is circular and surmounted by a dome. It is a major example of an architectural achievement in organic materials, principally wood, thatch, reed, wattle, and daub. The site's main significance lies, however, in its intangible values of belief, spirituality, continuity, and identity. Now, I read in a source that this is the world's largest hut, which I'd believe it. It's very big. And the tombs are inside. And it's obviously a very sacred place for the people of Uganda and the Kingdom of Buganda. So it was a very prominent, dominant kingdom. They very much conquered other kingdoms around them, dominating them either by making them pay tribute or just taking them over completely. They were, to be reckoned with, essentially. They were the main force here in inland East Africa. Right, Bonnie? So when European explorers started to make contact with them in the mid to late 1800s, they were actually very impressed by their society, by their infrastructure. They built roads, also like Rome. Interesting. And they just admired their formalities and such. There were many explorers that came through here, John Speck being the most famous. Many missionaries came into this area as well. But then, of course, the British began to sink their claws into this area of East Africa, definitely after the 1884 conference in Berlin, right? Berlin? Yeah, the Berlin Conference, the scramble for Africa. So what the Kabakas of Buganda did was, after one passed and another assumed the throne, they would move their palace, or essentially their capital. They were all based around the different hills. So when another Kabaka rose to power, he would move his whole court to a different hill, sometimes out to the islands down here as well, and sometimes just along the coast or more inland, wherever they preferred, right? So in 1890, once Britain really started to get their claws into the land here, they designated Kampala as their capital of the Imperial British East Africa Company. In 1905, they moved it down here to Entebbe, which is where the main airport for Kampala is today. But I think they were trying to step on the toes of the current Kabaka. And definitely by 1897, when the Kampala at that time rebelled against the British and tried to fight against them and lost. The British expelled him to the Seychelles, and they put his very young son, I read one source that he was 3, I read another that he wasn't even 1 year old yet. They put him on the throne, obviously so that they could control everything, right? Obviously, a toddler cannot rule a kingdom. So that was how the British managed to really control this area of Lake Victoria and Buganda, right, at the time. The name Uganda, by the way, is the Swahili pronunciation of Buganda. So I guess the British just liked that more and named this area Uganda, and it's stuck ever since. I don't know why it stuck with that. I don't know why the British picked that name and not this name, but that happened. Once Uganda gained independence in 1962, Kampala became the capital city and has been growing ever since. It is massively expanding. The population has been booming ever since, but of course there has been some period of tragedy and disaster within Kampala. In 1967, Milton Obote, I think was president or prime minister, one of those, he abolished the kingdom of Buganda so that he could have total control. It would be restored in 1993. Don't you worry, like I said, it's still around today, but he ended the kingdom. Milton Obote was eventually overthrown by Idi Amin, who was one of the most horrific world leaders, like in Africa and in the world. There's a great film about him called The Last King of Scotland. It's amazing if you want to know more about his reign. He was a big bad. He was a terrible, terrible person. And he ruled from Kampala. Once he started to overstep his bounds into Tanzania, the military of Tanzania, along with the various rebel factions in Uganda, invaded Kampala. This would be in 1979. That's when Idi Amin would flee and be deposed. Milton Obote was put back in charge. But in 1986, rebel factions built up again and they attacked Kampala, and Obote was overthrown by Museveni. I can't remember his first name at the moment. Actually, like 2 days before I filmed this, they had another election in Uganda. Museveni won again and again. He took over in 1986, 40 years ago. And he has been the president of Uganda ever since. And he just got reelected, if you know what I mean. I was following the drama because I was, researching Kampala, and whenever I typed it in, just stuff about the election came up. Because Bobby Wine, who's a former pop star turned politician, was running against him, and he was posting on his Twitter account that the military was surrounding his house, and then he posted again that he had to flee and he's on the run, and his location is unknown, but most of his family was arrested. Drama. It's always drama when it comes to these elections. He also ran last time against Museveni. But like I said, other than that, Kampala has been expanding and growing and thriving. There were some sad events involving, like I say on this channel, to keep it calm and avoid demonetization, people who blow things up on purpose. In this case, it was people who would blow themselves up on purpose. Those happened in 2010 and 2021 by militant Islamist groups. But I won't say their names for monetization purposes, but I think you know who I'm talking about. And that is essentially the history of Kampala and Buganda and the central region of Uganda. Long, complicated history. So let's get into Google Earth and look at this beautiful area on Google Earth. There's a lot to show you. I hope I don't forget something. I'm like very worried I'm going to forget to show you something. So if I do, I'll post a comment down there for you to check out. But let's get into it. Let's go. Here we are in the central region. And let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. Here is Uganda. It's very easy to find because you just have to spot big ol' Lake Victoria right there. And it's technically located in East Africa. I know it's more center than east, but Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania are considered East Africa. Let's see. Let's start down at the equator before I forget. Let's find the equator island. See, that's the border. That's not the equator. It's down here somewhere. Let's see. Is it this one? No, it's like labeled, I think. Let's look at Nola Island anyway. Oh, it is the lake. Look at that. There it is. Looking at these islands really put Lake Victoria into perspective for me, because this seems massive already looking at all of these islands here. Oh, not the quiet place. It's already gigantic, and this is just a tiny fraction of the lake, right? There's so much here. It's basically like an ocean, right? There it is. Equator. Let me show you. So like we just looked at all of these islands, right? And it was so big. There's so much. That is a tiny fraction of Lake Victoria. It is gigantic. The equator passes right through this island, and look what's there. Shoebills. One of the coolest birds ever. But yeah, there's a little monument there so you can stand. Oh, they're so cool. You can stand in the north and the south of the world. You can take some cool chartered boats. There's the equator. So cool. I don't know. I'm one of those people. Look at them. They're so neat. Wow. They go poo, 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 with their beaks. They sound like guns. I'm one of those people that I like to stand on borders of things just like that and have one foot in one place, one foot in another. I've done that with California and Nevada. I don't know, I think it's fun as a geography nerd to be able to say half of your body's in the north of the world and your other half is in the south of the world. But yeah, shoebills are one of the most amazing birds. They are so weird looking. They are so cool. So here's Entebbe. There's the airport, and the botanical gardens are down here in Entebbe. Right here. I think left over from, established 1898. Left over from the colonial times. And it's very beautiful. Sorry for my squeaky desk. There's little monkeys here. Big, beautiful trees. There's the lake. Look at these amazing flowers. My cat crying in the background. Here's a gray crested crane. This is the national bird, I think national animal of Uganda. It's on its flag. Another little water bird there. And more monkeys, I think. And beautiful seabirds. Kind of look like a pelican out there. Looks like a hornbill over here. Pretty cool. All kinds of wildlife in these gardens. It's pretty amazing. Bonnie. She wants to go play in the bathtub. I don't know why. She's so hyper fixated on the bathtub right now. I mean, she goes through periods where she is and isn't, and right now she very much is. But look at big old Kampala. Again, this is just a tiny bit, and it's already really massive. Kampala is just ever expanding. Huge, huge, huge. And what's really interesting about Kampala, I kind of like cities like this, where you can see the old parts and the new parts mushed together. Let's find a random area. So you can see like various buildings all clustered together. Very ramshackle, I guess. Very like no organization, right? And then you see neighborhoods. I guess this is a church complex. Yeah, that's a hospital. That's not a good example. Let's find a good neighborhood where it like very much is. It's another medical center. Let's look over here. You see these are apartments there. That's the university. But like, of course now I can't find a good example for you. But yeah, I think you can see what I mean. Various different neighborhoods. I need to show you, there's lots of things I need to show you, my goodness. You can see the various hills throughout as well. What do I show you first? Oh, the Kasubi tombs, obviously. The UNESCO site. The burial site for the Buganda royal family. And apparently many other people as well. Looks like big breadfruit there. the various kapakas that are buried here. There they are. Buganda Kingdom. It says to sign the visitor's book, which is pretty cool. A little fire pit there. There's the stadium. Pretty amazing. Here's the Uganda Museum. We've got some traditional huts there. We've got some cool headdresses. These are amazing. And helmets and masks and such. An old Model T. Some birds that live in this area. Old ships that would have sailed around the lake, I'm sure. The craft shop. A little guy. That's beautiful. That's really incredible. Some pottery. Murals outside. It's cool masks. Carriage there. More amazing pottery. I think those are, I'm not sure what these are. What does that say? Special platforms for milk pots. Okay. Interesting. More classic cars. Some fishing materials here. A big old truck of some kind. A big boom cannon. And it looks like some war paraphernalia. Looks like spears and cloaks and things. That's pretty great. That's a great museum. Alright, next I want to show you, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to find it. I'm going to have to look it up because Kampala is just so big. I keep forgetting where things are. It's massive, massive, massive. Yeah, I'm going to type it in. Don't be alarmed by the name. I will explain it. It's the Gaddafi Mosque. It's right there. I could have found that. Oh well. The National Mosque of Uganda, also known as the Gaddafi Mosque. Yes, after that, Gaddafi. So, I believe what happened, yeah, pretty sure. So Idi Amin started construction on this mosque, and then he was overthrown, and construction stopped. So the Muslim community of Kampala reached out to Muammar Gaddafi and asked him to help fund the finishing of this big old mosque. It is huge. These pictures don't really do it justice. And he did, and they called it the Gaddafi Mosque for a long time. Isn't that pretty? Look at all the palms there. Pretty. After Gaddafi was taken out, they changed the name to the Uganda National Mosque. That's its formal name now. Here's Fort Lugard. This was the first building built by the British, or like formal, center of operations for the British East India Company here in Kampala. Not really great photos, but here it is. Those are beautiful woven baskets. There it is, Fort Lugard. If I remember which hill it's by, well, I can show you the gardens, and then the castle's over by the gardens, not in the lake. I think it's actually over here by the university, I believe. Maybe it's over here. Nope. See, look at this neighborhood. This is on top of a hill. Look at these ones. They've got swimming pools. This is an apartment complex there. Oh, that's the Iranian embassy. So this is where the, diplomats live. There's the Chinese embassy. So you can really see the difference between some of these newer and older neighborhoods is what I was trying to get at. And then look at this. There's the main market. Look at this. I want to show you. I guess it's over here near the market. Yeah, over here. Look at all these umbrellas. They look like little mushrooms. Those are all market stalls, and you can see the people and all the little cars down there. All of these umbrellas are market stalls selling all kinds of fruits and vegetables and wares and meat and lots of fish. All kinds. Isn't that incredible? It's so busy here. Like you can see it like way from above. All of these marketplaces. Isn't that amazing? All right. Let me find what I'm looking for. I told you I was going to forget stuff. Mango Hill, I believe, was the... Oh, there's... I have to show you that. I believe this was the hill at the time of when the British arrived and took over. Here's Idi Amin's underground prison. And it's a very terrifying place. But look at this. All of the signs say, "Welcome to Idi Amin's armory that was constructed by the Israelis in the early 1970s, but later turned into a torture chamber where thousands of Ugandans lost their lives. Hashtag Tour Buganda." It's like, well, that's a mouthful. Let's read this sign. "Welcome to the Idi Amin's armory that was constructed by the Israelis in the early 1970s, but later turned into a torture chamber where thousands of Ugandans lost their lives. Hashtag be my tourist." Like, is that what it's called? Is that what this site is called? Is that its formal name? But yeah, as you can imagine, atrocities happened down here. There's some school children here learning about it. Kabaka Mutebi's collection is there. Beautiful artwork. Welcome to the Idi. Is that its formal name? Is that its government name? I think we can just say Idi Amin's underground prison is much easier to say than all of that. But not to make light of an absolute tragedy here. Not at all. All right. Like, I'm so nervous and I'm going to forget to show you the things I found that I'm like forgetting what I want to show you. Oh, I do need to show you this church. This is the church. That is not the... That's not the slideshow I meant to show you. That is not it. Is it? I do need to show you the Martyrs church, but I don't think that's it. I don't think that's the Martyrs church. I don't think so. I think I found another Martyrs church too while I was trying to find the main one. University Farm, that's pretty cool. Oh, is that it? No, see that, wait. I think that's the other, yeah, that's the other one I found. I was like, there's another Martyrs church, but that's not the Martyrs church. I have to find the Martyrs church. It is. All right, I'm just gonna have to type it in. I'm just gonna have to type it in. The Martyrs. Here we go. Basilica. Dun-dun. Here we go. This is the one. Because this is honoring Ugandans who lost their lives in the name of their faith. And as you can see, massive, massive pilgrimages happen at this church. There's lots of art around depicting what happened to the various martyrs. This beautiful central area. I guess the acoustics in here are absolutely divine. But yeah, lots of artwork depicting the events. 1886. They've got woodwork, statues. I know they have portraits of all of them inside too, but I don't know if there's a picture here. There's outdoor space as well, maybe for overflow. 3 popes have visited this place and blessed it. So the lake that you saw, I'll show it again. The lake out here has been blessed by 3 different popes. So people collect the water and, douse themselves with it or bless themselves or drink it, Pretty incredible. All right, now I have to show you the castle. I'm so lost. Like, a lot of the things that would just pop up aren't popping up. It's not my fault. Here we go, the Kabaka's Palace. I was so close. I knew it was over here. So this is where the Kabaka currently reigns from. And here he is. Tum-tum, in all his finery. And big leopard skin there with his wife. I forget the name for queen. It was a very long word, but isn't she beautiful? And that is his palace. I don't think they float around like they used to do. I think they just stay there. But I think that was all the stuff I meant to show you. Goodness, I hope so. I do hope so. I found so many neat things here that, I was like, I have to show them this. I don't need to show them this. So, but yeah, as always, I highly encourage you to poke around these areas and look for yourself, because there's so much to see. This hotel's named after the equator. I would stay there. There's so much to see in these cities. It's incredible. I'll show you the surrounding area just so you get a good lay of the land. Very lush and green due to all of the various waterways going throughout. God, look at all the churches and mosques popping up. My goodness. I've tapped on so many that it thinks that's what I want to see. It's not that I don't want to see it. I want to show you more of this farmland and such. It's all very beautiful, but there's no pictures. Do you think that this... Oh, I think actually this is outside. That's why. See the border right there? We're not going there today. Maybe another day. Let me find something in the islands to show you before we end this place. I think I remember some of these had slideshows. This one does. All right. Let's end it here on this beautiful island. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this style of content, please consider subscribing. Next, we're going to be going to the central province of Zambia. And we're going to see the tomb of none other than Dr. David Livingstone. We are going to see the rock that Zambian independence was first, inspired on, technically. Cute. We're going to see probably the biggest swamp you've ever seen. It's a big old swamp, and it's almost perfectly round. They thought it was a crater site, but apparently it's not. We're going to see some beautiful African animals. We're going to see some neat stuff. We're also going to see what's considered the most polluted town in the world. So if you want to see all that, be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. I do ask that you hit that thumbs up button, because my videos on Africa get the least views, and hitting that thumbs up, dropping a comment, or hyping this video are free and easy ways for you to help me support this channel. I'd appreciate it. There's a big truck outside. There goes the big truck to end this video. Goodbye, big truck. Off they go. It's my neighbor that owns the tow truck. So we hope that whoever's getting towed is safe and sound and will be very safe soon. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a good night. Good night.